Like your children or your grandchildren or even you to do better in school this year? Hi, I'm Bernice Hunt and I am a brain health specialist. I work with women just like you who are starting to notice a few memory issues, and I help you to stay sharp so that as you age, you can still travel, have fun with your grandkids, and experience new adventures without missing a beat. As a brain health professional, I've studied a lot about the relationship between your brain and learning. And I know the value of lifestyle practices. As a parent, we already know that we want our kids to eat right. We want them to get sufficient rest, and we want them to get their homework done. So we monitor those things as they go to school to make sure that those things are done. But did you know that there are some other important things that your child also needs to do, or you need to do? Did you catch my video the other day? I did a video the other day, and it was on back to school hacks. And I talked about 3 other things that you really should be doing. So if you didn't catch it, just go ahead and find it on my YouTube channel or find it on my Facebook page, and you will see those things. And so I'm going to talk today more about that, because in that video, I told you that today I would talk about the reasons why you need to add those things. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to review what those 3 things are. I'm going to talk about the reasons why you need to do those things and how you can accomplish that. So that's what we're doing today. Okay, so the first one is exercise. Okay, so exercise is terribly important for your brain, and it's incredibly important for learning. Do you remember when you were little? I know I used to rush to school in the morning to get on that playground so I could play tetherball. I would be the first one there to play the tetherballs, or I could go jump on the swings, or maybe play some basketball. But there was something I was going to do on that playground before school started. And I wanted to get to school early, because the earlier I got there, the more time I had to play on those things. And I didn't know that it was so good for my brain. But it is. So morning exercise is optimal. You want your children to get some exercise in the morning, if at all possible. Now, you may not be fortunate enough to have a stationary bike or elliptical in your house or some exercise equipment. Maybe you do. If you do, cool. Use that. But they can do jumping jacks. They can even jump rope. They even have those cordless rope. My son got me a cordless jump rope, so I didn't have to worry about breaking any lamps. So there's a cordless jump rope you can use. They can have a rebounder. They can either do calisthenics. They can do burpees. They can do a lot of things at home to get that heart rate up before they go to school. It is so very, very important. So why is it so important? Research says that it helps prepare your brain for learning. So it's a readiness skill for your brain. It's also a mood changer. It enhances your mood. So if your child is depressed, or if they got that school jitters, or if they have any kind of anxiety, you want them to exercise before school, and that's going to calm them down. It's also going to help them retain the information that they've learned. It helps you retain that information. So you want them to have exercise so their brain can be working optimally. Also, it turns on new brain cells. So your new nerve cells that grow in your brain, it turns on and activates that. So you'll have new brain cells going, and we know we always want that. So exercise is so very, very important. The CDC has said that physical activity tends to make you better at attending, so it gives you better attention, gives you better grades, gives you better memory, gives you better behavior. All great reasons why you should exercise, especially in the morning. So now, if you don't have any kind of way, there's no way possible you can exercise in the morning, at least exercise throughout the day. And I'm not talking about recess. I'm not talking about PE, because that's all subjective. People can be standing out there at recess and they're not really getting their heart moving. They're not exercising. Same thing for PE. They're walking around. They're not doing any exercising. So make sure your child is getting proper exercise. Get that heart moving every day. In a perfect world, You would get them exercising in the morning before they go to school, and you'd have them exercising before they do their homework. That would be optimal. That would be great. So exercise is the number one thing that you should do in addition to that eating and the sleeping and doing that homework. The next thing that you should be doing that also will help besides the exercise is drinking water. Make sure continuously your child is drinking water. Or if you a student, you need to be drinking some water. Drinking water. Now, we already know that water is, at the 80% of our brain is water, and water is needed for our brain to function in any kind of way. And even with 2% decrease, if you're even dehydrated by 2%, your brain is not going to be able to function as effectively as it should. And there's some studies that show that there's a 15% improvement in brain function when you are properly hydrated. So make sure your child and you are drinking enough water. It makes them focused. It even helps them to think faster. So that's what you want to do. So how are you going to help them drink some water? Well, the first thing is get them into the practice of having some water first thing in the morning when they wake up. You too. Get some water first thing in the morning when you wake up. Also, you can have water before you drop them off at school, either when they leave the house or before they get out the car to go to school. Rather, make sure they have some water. Again, another thing, water bottles. Yes, make sure they have a water bottle with them that they take and they use at school. The other things is their snacks and their lunches. You can put fruits and vegetables in there, which are water dense. They're full of water. Make sure that they're eating fruits, fresh fruits and vegetables during the day for their snacks, for their lunches, and even when they come home after school. Have a basket of fruit, or have a salad or something there for them so they're getting that water inside them. You want them to stay hydrated. Also, have water become your family go-to drink. That's how it was in my house when I was growing up, more for financial reasons. But anyway, water is the go-to drink. You don't have all these other kind of sugary drinks in your house. You have water for them to drink. Okay, so those are things you should do. Exercise, get them lots of water. The third thing might hurt you guys. I know it's going to hurt for me to say this, but you're going to reduce and restrict the amount of screen time that you give to your kids. Okay, and you give to yourself. So I'm talking non-academic or non-work related. We all have to work in this world with screens. We all have to, our school system now is utilizing the screens. So we're not talking about that. We're talking about non-academic, non-rate related screen time, which includes your TV, your computer, your cell phone. It includes your laptop, Chromebook, Kindle, whatever it is that has a screen on it. That's what we're talking about. So we want to limit that with your kids. Now, the experts say, this might be kind of hard to take. The experts say that if your child is under 2 years old, they need none direct screen time. Do not pass that phone off to that child. No, they shouldn't be doing screen. And when you look at TV, they ain't paying no attention to TV. So, but they should have they don't need to be at a screen. If they're between 2 and 12, guess how much non-academic screen time they need? 1 hour a day. And that includes your TV. Now, I know that's hard. I know that's going to hurt. 1 hour a day they need. If they're 13 and above, which includes adults, 13 to adulthood, they only get 2 hours of screen time a day. Now, I know this is a process. I don't want you don't have to go cold turkey on them and have all this rebellion in your house. But what you do need to do is you need to set some limits, okay? Set some rules there. And you can start slow and you can move toward that goal. Just cut off, half the time. Half the time. They say the average person has 7 to 10 hours of screen time. So cut that thing, and then move it down to where you get to 1 or 2 hours. That's what you need to do. So there's some reasons why you need to do this. One thing is it causes sleep problems, sleep disturbances, and that's been documented. It gives them sleep problems. Another thing, it's linked with obesity It is linked with obesity. Another thing is it is linked with poor social skills, poor emotional judgment, poor relationship building. And I know that a lot of you can see that in these kids. They haven't been trained. They haven't experienced the relationship building, the social interactions that they need to be making because they're always in a screen. So you want to get them off the screen. You want them interacting more with people. It also has delayed development in young kids. That's why they say kids under 2 don't need to be watching it at all. It's delayed development in young kids. Too much screen time. Okay, another thing is lower grades, poor performance. They're performing poorly compared to kids that are not on screens a lot. Lower grades for the kids that are on screens a lot versus the kids that are not on screens. We're talking non-academic, we're talking games and just staring and on the phone and all that kind of stuff. Their performance isn't as good as the kids that don't do those kinds of things. So again, how are you going to get your kids off those screens? First of all, you have to set a time that you have to cut a cutoff time for your kids. Okay, there's going to be no screens after a certain time. A good rule of thumb is to make it 2 hours before bedtime. The screens are off. There's no more screens. That's it. We're doing something. The kids are still up, but they're not attending to any TVs or phones, cell phones or Chromebooks or laptops or any of that stuff. There's a cut-off time. Another thing to have no screen zones or phone-free zones, a place where you don't take your phone, where you don't take that Chromebook or laptop. You don't have it there. Like a good place for that would be the dinner table at dinner time in the restaurant. Nobody's on a phone. Nobody's on a screen. I know they have little things on the table. Move that little thing away. They are not going to get on that. It is a no screen. It's a phone-free time. In the car. In the car is not a time for them to be on the phone or on the screen. And I know some cars have those TVs in their car, but that is not a good idea. They can look out the window, they can look at the scenery, or they can have a conversation with the other people in the car. They don't have to be on a screen. In the bed, a lot of people jump in the bed with their phone or with the screen. No screens, no phones in the bed. So those are no screen zones or phone-free zone, something that you can enact in your house. All right. And then the other thing is to increase your family time, your direct time that you're spending with each other. Increase that and have family board games. Go outside and play. Go for walks, play outside, those kinds of things. You can do things as a family more. Don't just send the kids off, and you don't want to have nothing to do with them. Do some interacting, some social interacting with your kids instead of having them on the screen. So those are the things you need to increase exercise, preferably in the morning, increase water and continue it throughout the day, and give them restricted screen time. So put that with the other things you know to do with their eating and your sleeping and your homework, and you will have a child that is going to do much better in school. Hey guys, got to tell you that I have a Facebook group that I recently created, and I'd love for you to join it. So it's called Keep Your Brain Sharp Community. So it is a community Facebook, and it's not for everybody. Hopefully it's for you. It's not for everybody though. It's for people that want to get more serious about their brain health, and I'm going to have some extra things on there to do and some extra things on there to learn and information and things. It's just going to be wonderful. So go and check it out. It's called Keep Your Brain Sharp Community. I'll probably put the link in here, and you guys can check that thing out, because you know what? Your brain's destiny is in your hands.